Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 14 of the Tait podcast. Finally back, able to record in my mother's shed. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see it looks a little bit different now. That's because of all the proceeds of all the money that's been coming in from this high-profile podcast. I'm actually a rich person now. I just choose to be fat. But this is the podcast today. I will be speaking to Elliott Mann, the lawyer. The first lawyer on the show, the Tait Talks lawyer. He's not actually anything to do with Tait Talks. He's just here to chat. I do have to reiterate, or at least say this at least once. All things that I say, no in shape or form related to Elliott. So please send all your hate mail to me or someone else. Yeah, that's about it. So Elliott, how are you, mate?
Good, thanks, Tait. Long time listener, first time guest. Pretty excited. So
you made it on, mate. Episode 14 didn't take too long.
I've been calling in every week just to say, come on, let me in.
Are you here? You're here with the new fucking backdrop, the fucking general. We've got a new setting on the camera. Looks nice and flashy. If you're watching on YouTube, give it a like and subscribe. It's free. Or don't. Alright, that's how much I'm going to plug it. You are a lawyer.
Yes, I am a lawyer.
When? Why? How did this happen?
It's not that exciting of a story, to be honest, but as is common in the law profession, my dad is a lawyer. And in most cases, it tends to be the children, or at least one of them, that comes on. So
why?
I think you kind of get forced into it a little bit.
Are you the oldest?
I am the oldest, yeah.
Yeah. So you saw Dad's fortune and thought, I want me a slice of this. Your dad, does he have his own firm?
Yeah.
So you can go to work for him, essentially.
Yeah, look, when I was about 8 years old, I was in there given jobs to pull paper clips off files and do little menial tasks around the office, give people chocolates, that kind of stuff. So, actually, no, they had one of those charity things where you put the dollar in.
Yeah.
And I just took the whole box and gave one to each staff member and didn't tell anyone. And the charity guy came around and said, we're $28 short.
And that's the first time Elliott got sued.
That's right. But Mum was a nurse and Dad is a lawyer, and I thought I'll do one of those two things, and then I realised how hard medicine is.
Yeah.
My sister's actually become a nurse, so...
Really? Yeah. Congratulations, whatever her name is, someone Mann. Julia Mann.
That's
Congratulations.
Right. So, yeah, I thought, medicine's not for me, so at a pretty young age, I'd probably say maybe year 7.
Yep.
I knew that's what I wanted to do.
To be a lawyer, were you like schooling kids in the playground like, sorry, that's wrong?
Yeah, I was pretty popular.
Subsection C, fucking blah, blah, blah. Cannot throw apples in people's faces.
That's right, yeah. I always like filling out forms and that kind of shit, so...
There must be so much paperwork.
Oh, there's a lot.
Yeah.
It's all digital now, but it's...
And it has to be like perfect? Like any little mistake can fuck you? Or is there leeway?
There's leeway.
It's like, you actually wrote the wrong bear, so we actually have to give this person a bear now, not bare arms, you fucking idiot. Like, okay.
Yeah, look, it depends. It depends if the other side sees it as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes
they're always like, can you check over this paperwork to see if there's any loopholes in the films? Is that real?
The common phrase I always hear is there any loopholes? Do I have a leg to stand on?
You want some cocaine?
Take this brown paper bag.
Yeah.
No, it's all... Look, that's part of what we do. Part of what we do is...
Take brown paper bags? Once again, everything he says on this is not legal advice.
Yeah. I will say that anything I say is just general commentary, and it's not in the capacity as a lawyer, even though I am. But, yeah, look, part of our job is navigating that field, because it is quite a complex space, but some things to us are quite simple and some things aren't. But you don't know that till you come to me, because a lot of people come and say, oh, look, it's a really simple problem. Can I do X? And then I'll say, well, no, I need more information for that.
Yeah.
No, like it's simple. And part of the reason I think people say that is because just get in, get out. Every second I'm here, it's costing me money.
Yeah. That's one of the issues, I guess.
Well,
it is like people just don't want to spend money.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I feel like when people are paying for you to sit down and sometimes talk to them and be like, this is the advice that I'm giving you, they're like, yeah, but he's just or she's just talking. Like, why should I pay? You know, you're like, yeah, but they know this information, you peanut. It's very strange.
The other thing is that with the internet and all the resources now, that sometimes people do their own research and sometimes they're actually right. But a lot of the time they're not.
It's like, hey, you actually did North Korean law, not Australian, so you're fucking wrong, right?
Well, that's the other thing. State by state's different depending on what it is. So someone might be perfectly correct in New South Wales, but you're in Victoria, so...
Yeah, that's fucking... It's a kick in the stomach.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have American law, which is its own thing. A common thing I see is that people download something off the internet and it's normally from the US, and you can tell straight away it might work in the US, but it doesn't work here at all. So
yeah, it's like I'm allowed to kill whoever comes onto my property.
Yeah,
it's my God-given right.
And then you see Minnesota down
there.
Yeah,
you're like,
I'll go over there.
You silly duffer.
So yeah, I think it's like anything. If you are an expert in something, it might not even look like you're trying that hard, or you just know where to look. You know how to get to the problem at the start, and it's difficult with services because it's not like someone comes around and pours a concrete slab or something physical you can see. All you see sometimes is just the end product, and you think, well, why did that cost that much? But part of that is also the expertise that you build up as well. So yeah, it's probably the most common misconception, and a lot of lawyers, especially when they start out, they're not actually on great money. It is what it is, and it takes a long time to build that skill. So.
Yeah. So is that why there's a big discrepancy sometimes? Like, I've had one lawyer in my life, which is pretty classic, because we saw this dude a couple of times. I'm not going to name his name because I forgot it, but we saw him twice, and then the third time he's like, I asked him a question, and he's like, I actually don't do much of this type of stuff, so I'm not too sure. And we were like, mate, we've been here fucking twice, and now you're saying this isn't your field? The field hasn't fucking changed. Yeah. We want to know, it was when my dad fucking passed away, or died, as we say in the fucking cruder term, to see if you had any fucking, a leg to stand on in the superannuation and all that type of stuff. And he's like, I have no clue. And you're just like, mate! What am I... Just say that. I'll go somewhere else, you fucking peanut.
That happens a lot.
He was an older guy. I don't know if he was like...
Oh, I know him.
Yeah.
Always says that.
Yeah.
Always says that.
So he robbed me out of millions of dollars.
Well, that's a thing, you have to be honest with that kind of stuff, because you have people come and ask you all kinds of stuff. I've had people ask me about airspace laws or...
Can I fly my drone around here?
Yeah, speeding charges or criminal charges, and I don't do any of that, so I can't even pretend to guess. Sometimes I know the answer, but you can't say that, even if you...
So do you have a... So, alright, what law do you do?
I do the most boring kind of law you can do.
And that's all we have time for, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming in, Elliott.
I do serving podcasts, so you're actually being served. No, I do commercial law, so the specialty niche that I do is actually people that buy and sell businesses, so hospitality venues, hotels, motels.
Holiday Inns?
Yeah, Holiday Inns, and I'm one of them, so... also commercial leasing, so people that lease off, shop owners or that sort of stuff, buying, selling property, usually have the most boring stories. They're only exciting if I speak to someone else who works in that area.
Oh, okay.
But to you,
because you know the inside.
It's and then the GST, and they're like, what? No way.
Yeah.
So I don't go to court. So if you have criminal problems, don't come to me. I don't sue anyone. I don't do any of the stuff that has the great war stories, but there's plenty of lawyers that do completely different stuff.
Yeah. And that's who I'll be getting next time.
So you might have a lawyer that works in sports law. You might have a lawyer that works in commercial law like me.
There are lawyers for every area.
There's lawyers for everything. That's the way we like it.
Yeah,
That's the way we'll keep it.
How do you get into those different areas, though? As a lawyer, is there one set of fucking, I'm a lawyer, like a plumber, and they can do roofing and everything else. So can you or do you have to go further study to get into like space? What was it?
Space law.
Space law. Yeah.
Yeah, you do. So,
More study.
well, when I say more study,
Is it out of school or just studying as in like to get to know the actual shit on your own time?
well, you have electives. I mean, you probably don't know what area you're going to practice, but you have electives when you go to uni.
Yeah.
But we have a requirement, as a lot of professionals do, that I have to do a certain amount of learning each year.
Okay.
So continuing professional development. And there's a lot of seminars and courses you can go to learn different areas. So if I wanted to learn about employment law or space law or podcast law, then I'd do that sort of stuff.
Is it podcast law?
There probably is, yeah.
Is that like me using like hypothetically if I used a someone else's theme song or something like that? Is it all like that type of? See, you're not going to know.
That's copyright. So
okay.
that falls under intellectual property law, which is an area I will not touch at all because that's a very complex area.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah,
do you meet other lawyers and they're like, I do this field, and you're like, ooh, you're the fucking the rock star of our lawyers.
Yeah. I mean, I have friends that I went to uni with. I know what they do, but I would have no idea how they do it.
Yeah.
What the law's about, what they do in a day-to-day life, wouldn't have a clue at all.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's kind of like building a house. I might be there as the electrician. I know everything about that aspect. I might observe the plumber do some stuff. I know the basics, but I can't do it myself.
Yeah.
One, I'm not qualified to do it. And two, I've never done any of that stuff. So we generally have an idea of stuff we're exposed to. Like, I know a little bit about family law, but I would never give advice on it.
Just leave him, Sharon.
Yeah,
leave him.
50%. You get 50% straight away. So, so you could be anything you want. And I think a lot of people these days treat law degrees a bit like a generic degree in the sense that, I'll just do that. It'll be a good start, and then maybe I'll find my way into doing law.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do something else.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people that don't actually get a practicing certificate, which is what you need to actually practice as a solicitor.
Is that you?
That's me, yeah.
Okay.
So you can have a law degree.
What is a solicitor, sorry?
Well...
Because that's what I went to, was a solicitor.
A solicitor and a lawyer, in a sense, are interchangeable. I'm admitted as an Australian lawyer, but solicitor, in a sense, is basically the same thing. Then you have your barristers, which is a separate thing altogether. And barristers are actually the people that go into court, speak to the judge, that sort of
stuff. Are they the swinging decks of the law world?
It depends what circle you're in, probably.
Yeah. Well, they're the ones on TV and shit.
Yeah, they're the ones on TV.
They're the ones who are making, like, usually good money.
Yeah. If you're a barrister and you're watching...
There's none fucking listening.
Maybe.
No, there's not.
Please don't sue me.
He said we're all rich.
I think, they are quite highly paid, but they're quite specialists and knowledgeable. And
so they're like the surgeons of the plumber, that's the plumber, of the lawyer world?
I don't know how you put that. I think maybe...
We just call them cunts?
Yeah. Let's just do that. That's easy. I don't know any, so it's all good. They're the ones that they have to do a bit more study to actually do that. But I might be wrong here, but I think I can go up to... It's either the magistrates or the county court without... I can go in there.
Yeah.
I don't go to courts. I wouldn't have a clue. But I know I can go to some courts without being a barrister. And I can represent. It might be the Supreme, but yeah.
What about when people do their own law? They're like, I'm gonna be my own lawyer, like that type. Can you do that in any case?
As in
or is that more film?
Yes, you can self-represent yourself.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Self-represent.
Yeah, but there's some case law that essentially says that it's not a good idea.
Yeah, because someone's like, don't do it, mate, and you're like, it's always some dummy criminal.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm just going to represent myself. And they're like, yeah, well, we can give you a court-appointed lawyer. Nah, I've got this, mate. And you're like, you're a dope because you're here.
There's some great movies about it. But in real life, no, I wouldn't recommend it.
Because you're out of a job.
That's right, yeah. See, I'm not in court anyway.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, look, there are people that would know what to do, but it would take a lot of study, to even understand the basics. Yeah. I don't even know the etiquette of court, let alone, the ins and outs of it. So for someone who doesn't work in that space at all to represent themselves, I mean, there is some, the judges take that into account, but I still wouldn't recommend it. If you
Yeah,
get older.
true. How stressful is your job, like for you personally?
When I first started,
How often did you run to Dad when you first started?
I still
You're like,
do.
what the fuck is this?
Still do.
Yeah. What's a
All the
defendant?
time.
What the fuck is a defendant?
What is a retainer?
Yeah.
Look, it is.
Which are some of my questions later on.
Gonna spoiler
Tune
alert.
in.
Yeah, I had to vet them as a solicitor, of course. But look, it does get pretty stressful, especially because you have such high responsibilities. I mean, we have professional standards that say we have to do certain things, and rightly so. To look after the clients, duties to the court, and everything else. But I think what you learn over time is that you have to separate yourself from that, and that took me a while. Some matters for me are still quite stressful. When I first started, at certain times I'd wake up, I still do occasionally, depending on the matter, but I wake up at 3 a.m. and think about it for 3 hours and
Really?
just stress about it and think, oh, did I do that? Or did I consider this? Or did I actually say that? And then sometimes I'd have a dream that this is great, lawyer stuff here, by the way. This is how interesting we are. I have a dream that I'm doing the work.
Ooh.
And then I wake up and I go, was that the dream, or did I actually do that?
Okay. I think this is more schizophrenia
Yeah.
than actual being a lawyer.
Yeah, so I think you have to learn to have a hobby or do something that separates yourself from that, because otherwise you get burnt out really quickly. Some of my friends who work in some bigger law firms, you text them and it'll be 10:30 on a Saturday and they'd be in the office. I'm pretty lucky.
Are they getting paid for that, or is that like they're just doing that so they can win, or whatever?
I don't believe most of them get overtime. I think it's sort of part and parcel of the job. You do your duty. You can punish your junior in 5 years when it's not you.
Oh, okay.
But look, yeah, I don't know exactly.
So if you're the underdog, or not the underdog, but like the understudy or fucking the low level fucking person, you get pretty abused. Like the first game.
Yeah. As I understand it, I've done work experience in larger firms, but I've never actually been paid and worked in that capacity. But it is still quite hierarchical. So you start at the bottom, you do the menial tasks as you should, because then as you go up, you understand that process.
Yeah.
And then you can sort of dictate, which is all part of it. But yeah, I think some of those people, my friends in Melbourne in bigger firms, have got burnt out because that's all they do, and not necessarily by choice. The firm just says, we got a deadline on Monday, we need you here all day tomorrow, we need you all day Saturday, Sunday.
Fuck that shit.
So yeah, I think you've got to separate yourself, otherwise you can't do it. And that's the same for any job, I think. I don't think that's exclusive to us, but yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, it doesn't sound fucking fun at all. When you
do law, it's great.
Yeah, when we were talking about your clients and stuff like that, you just call them clients?
Yeah.
Anyone not get what they're after and decide they don't want to pay you? Or be dicks to you?
Oh, yeah.
What's it like when people say that to a person who is a lawyer and you're like, it's my job to know what I'm supposed to be doing and what I'm supposed to be paid, and the legalities, surely it's a bad fight for them.
Oh, look, lawyers do make mistakes.
Okay.
I've made mistakes.
Ooh.
If you're watching, no, but look.
So if you're like, I'm making all the fucking time.
Grant, I'm sorry, all right, just let it go. No, look, but sometimes small mistakes don't matter. Sometimes they're not picked up. But sometimes people are just not going to be happy regardless. You'll say to them, look, they'll say, oh, it's the principle. I don't care how much it costs. I want to murder Tait with paperwork. I just want to bury him. I want to spend this much money. And you can say to them, I'm happy to do that, but you understand that the result will be the same. And those people will never be happy. You can do the same thing for them 10 different ways, but they won't listen as well. Yeah. So at the end of the day, if they're not going to listen, as long as you've given them the right advice, you've told them, hey, there's 99% chance this is not going to pull off for you and they're still unhappy. Yeah. I think you just have to have a thick skin and just say, all right, deal with it.
What's with the when they're like, you know, when you see in like it's in fucking print or it's on TV or billboards and shit, and it's like, if you don't win, you don't have to pay us. Is that just a scam, or is it they just don't take those cases they think you're going to lose?
Basically, again, I don't work in this space, but I understand that it's essentially what they call a contingency fee. So if I win for you, I expect to take a percentage of what's won.
Okay.
And yes, you're right. For the most part, I believe those firms don't tend to take cases that have a low chance of success because it's still is a business.
Yeah.
They're not in the business of doing stuff for free. So
yeah.
I mean, they will do stuff for free, but I think a lot of people also miss the fact that depending on the jurisdiction, because I've seen clients give me copies of retainers.
What is a retainer?
A retainer is essentially to use it in a sentence, you retain me or you engage me to do work on your behalf. So within that retainer, there's an understanding as to what I'm actually doing. So what we refer to as the scope. So I'm helping you buy a house.
Yep.
I'm not giving you tax advice. I'm not giving you advice about your family law. I'm just doing these specific things. So I'm retaining you, Elliott or Tait, to do those particular things.
Yeah. It's not fucking me, mate. I'm unemployed in my mum's shed.
Yeah. So I mean, that's all it really is. And we're actually legally obligated to tell you how much it's going to cost at the start.
Okay.
So when we say the old days, as my father would say, you used to be able to give a range because you don't know exactly how much work it's going to be.
Yeah.
But professional standards now say that we have to say it's going to be X.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what happens if you're like, fuck, it's a lot bigger, or
we can revise it.
Yeah.
But like you don't want to say, it's going to be 5, and then I come around in 3 weeks and say, look, it's all done,
It's 10.
but it's 15.
Okay.
So yeah, that's all it really is. And yeah, we can revise it, but essentially we're actually legally obligated to say this is how much it's going to cost.
Yeah. That's just retainers?
That's just retainer. So going back to your question about contingency and no win, no fee, they will say we will take a percentage, or if we win, we get this amount. And they may have different tiers. Oh, look, if your winnings are winnings, if your settlement is $1 million,
it's the tab, mate. It's the fucking tab.
If your numbers get pulled out of the lottery, we might take that amount or etc. But what I was saying before is a lot of people miss the fact is that generally those agreements, as I understand them, is that you're still responsible for the court fees, or you're still responsible for what we call disbursements, which are fees that are incurred on your behalf, which aren't my professional costs. They're costs I pay to lodge an affidavit or do all those things. You still pay for that.
What's an affidavit?
Is this going to just be defining things the whole time? Look, an affidavit is something that, and I think you might touch on this, is a document where you either swear, so you might...
I swear, yeah.
Yeah, you swear, and you do it on the Bible.
Okay, yeah.
Or some other religious text, or what you do is you...
It's so weird it has to be religious. Like, you'd think in this day and age that maybe someday that would get thrown out?
You have a choice.
Okay.
You can either swear or you can affirm. And affirm is where you basically say, I solemnly swear.
So that's like I cross my heart not to die?
Yeah.
Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah. I had to do that when I became a lawyer, so I had to affirm.
Okay.
So there were people standing in the court with legal, religious texts, and then there was people that...
so there are 2 lines? It was like the heathens and the non-heathens?
Yep. Yeah. So
and they'll like spit
the heathens were up in the top, which was me, and then everyone who was swearing was down the bottom.
Is it just something you want to do, or is it actually you got to be religious?
I don't know.
Because if you were like, I just want to, fuck it, I'll touch a Bible, I don't give a shit. You know, like, or they actually like, are you actually...
Well, it's not really a test of your faith.
Yeah.
It's more...
That's what I mean, like, what the fuck point of it then?
Well, I think it's just an historical thing.
Yeah. It's like the wigs. Is it like, I don't know if that's still a thing.
The wigs are still a thing.
Yeah.
Not in every court, but...
Is that for the high court? Like the Supreme? Is the Supreme the highest?
High.
High court's the high. The high court?
Yeah.
So high court and then Supreme?
Yeah.
Okay.
It gets a bit messy. So you've got Magistrates Court, I love how we're talking about all the court stuff that I don't do, but
you know it. Like,
I know.
You still know the fucking
no one's
shit.
going to know any different unless they Google it.
Yeah, yeah.
But you got your magistrate's court. The next court up is your county court.
Yep.
Then you've got your Supreme Court.
Yep.
Within that jurisdiction, there's a federal court, and then there's specific courts. So you've got a family court as well, and then your high court's at the top. That's the basic structure. Yeah.
A lot of courts, tennis, basketball. It's the only ones I really know.
Yeah, but they wear. The reason I understand that they wear the wigs is historically.
Anonymity.
Yes, that's right.
That's the word. Anonymity.
I'm glad you said it because I didn't.
See an enemy.
I think.
Didn't they used to even put makeup on them back in the day and stuff? To actually like make them look different, wig, and be like, I know that's you, Jeff. You fucking powdered up bastard. Like, shh.
I don't know. I think.
I think you're thinking of a clown.
I think everyone powdered their face back in the day.
Yeah, true.
So,
because they're all fucked. They had leprosy and shit.
Yeah,
Can
exactly.
you imagine those cretins fucking be like...
Lice? No, that's just powder.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. But, yeah.
Your nose fell off, sir.
It was so that you were walking down the street, you wouldn't necessarily pick up as me, even though I look fucking exactly the same, except that I'm
Superman with his curl.
Yeah, exactly. So, I know you from somewhere. No. That's my brother. He wears a wig.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all that really is. But yeah, I think some barristers still wear them. There was a requirement.
As if you just rocked up at work just wearing a wig and they're like, Elliot, that's not what we do here. And you're like, it is.
No, like, I'm not Elliot.
Yeah.
I'm just here to work.
Your dad's like, fuck off.
You're not my son.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the basic principle behind it.
Yeah.
There's some real history to all that stuff. And you're going to ask me to say what the words are, but
no,
I don't know. You wear a jabot and like you wear all these different kinds of
a jabot.
Yeah, so you wear all these different kind of robes and stuff as barristers and then as judges. But yeah, it's an area I'm not that familiar with. But basically, it's part of its tradition and part of it's just, I think, to keep that prestige as well and to show that respect.
You're in board shorts, just like
yeah.
Okay.
I remember.
I'm a surf lawyer. I'm an ocean lawyer.
Overruled.
Cowabunga, dude.
He talks the talk.
Sit down, Elliot. Take your wig.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not an area I'd like to do at all. I remember a story a friend was telling years ago when they used to work in court, and because there's a bit of prestige about it, a lawyer has to dress properly, and they weren't wearing their jacket. So when they went to speak, the magistrate just said, "Sorry, I can't hear you," and they couldn't figure it out. They kept trying to speak, and the magistrate could obviously hear them, but they weren't wearing a jacket.
Oh, really?
So they saw it as it wasn't part of the process.
Yeah,
it was
you
disrespect.
scumbag.
So
that's so funny.
Someone
just being a cunt.
Oh yeah, totally.
I'm just gonna have to pause it here for the break because of the camera. And we are back. You were just saying about the guy that couldn't be heard. Because he wasn't wearing a jacket.
Because he wasn't wearing a jacket. So someone eventually came up behind him and just said,
"Are you jacking up?"
Yeah, and then it was all good. But they're sort of the archaic parts of the law.
Yeah, I would be so annoyed. I'd be like, "You can fucking hear me, mate." Do you ever... Actually, no, that question's no point because you don't do that. Courtroom Stories.
Yeah.
Now, we've chatted off air, as we say in the business. That
we've exchanged by correspondence.
We have. He's charged me. You said, like, was it when you were studying? You used to go to courtrooms occasionally?
It was when I worked at a law firm, but I was still at uni.
Okay.
So it's a funny time because you have all these aspirations, and I remember when I first went to uni. Before I actually started my course, and I went to the law part of the library, and I looked at all the books, and I was like, "Oh, this is what's all going to be like." Like so many leather-bound books, and it did not turn out to be like that.
Just before, I just wanted to touch on, when you were talking about the information before, and you said it's all digital and stuff now.
Yeah.
For you to find the actual bits and documents and law and all the fucking cases and whatever that bullshit is in the past, do you guys actually read books, or is it all online now? Every law fucking place has a big book stand with all fucking leather-bound books in it. Do they read those fucking things, or is that wallpaper?
So those books, for the most part, are essentially reports on cases.
Okay.
So if you actually look at them, you'll see that it has a year on it.
Yeah.
And what they used to do is that they used to give a summary of something that was important, or what we refer to as like potentially a precedent, so something to follow in future.
Yeah, that's precedent.
Yeah, and then you would go, oh, you know, this happened in 78. Yeah, we'll go get that book and have a look at it.
Okay.
But now you just look it up on, you know, there's databases.
Is that something that your boss has to, or your dad in this case, has to pay like a fee each year, and they get the database?
Yeah. So we pay fees to do all that. You still can get stuff from books.
Can only lawyers get that?
The databases?
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them. Or if you're a uni student, a lot
Yeah.
of the time, if you're a uni student, you can get access to a lot of those databases like LexisNexis and that sort of stuff. But
Is that a rapper?
yeah, it's really interesting stuff. He makes some good rhymes about property law and all that kind of stuff. But,
Cool.
so all those books now are just online essentially. But
So they look nice. Is it just to...
pretty much most books you'll see.
This old man that I had, the lawyer, I feel like he was using books.
Remember Reader's Digest?
Yeah. Still
That's
reading.
kind of like those books. You just get one every quarter and put it on the shelf.
Really?
Yeah. So that's. Okay. I don't even know if they still do them. Some of them are actually worth a little bit of money, I think. But yeah.
Is there any thieves out there?
If there are any thieves, come and steal the books off our bookshelf. We've got so many of them. But yeah, now you just look it up.
Yeah.
For the most part. But there are.
Which is so much fucking easier.
Yeah, but when you go to uni, you still got to read the textbook. So they don't prepare you for that.
Okay. So it's something. Going back to the courtrooms.
Yeah.
Did you see any wacky, zany fucking stories?
So yeah, aspirational kid, still working in a law firm. I think I was studying at the time, but I was like, oh, you know, like, it wasn't like I'll get ahead, like going out of court. But on my lunch break, I was like, oh, I'll go and sit in court and like see what happens.
So anyone can do this?
Anyone can do that. It's a public place. There are closed court sessions, but...
So if I, like, hypothetically murder my family, is that closed, or can you come?
No, that's open. That's open. Unless there's a...
Why are we fucking get Netflix? When we can just stroll up to... Do they have like a little catalogue? This week is fucking...
Yeah, there's normally a list on the wall, and it'll say each day, and you can look it up as well. Some of the courts you can actually look up people's names and see when they're listed.
Buying a fucking car in an auction, you know, do it at home, and they're like, ugh. And now you can just check out what's going on.
One time I was there doing work experience, and there was a list on the wall, and I saw my mate's name on it. I was like, oh, gee, that's kind of weird. And I texted him, and he's like, you fuck. The one day I'm in there for drink driving, and you saw my name on the wall, and I was like, oh yeah, like, I didn't tell anyone.
It's weird, I sent it on Snapchat.
Yeah. So I used to sit there, go in there on lunch, and be like, oh, you know, like, this is what it'll be like. Never been there since. But I remember one of the court cases, and you know, this isn't a confidential thing because it's in a public venue.
Yeah, I mean,
anyone.
You can't film it.
No, you can't film it, but anyone can walk off the street and go in there. But I remember there was a story.
Just walking in and be like, Bear!
Yeah.
He didn't do it. It's like, he killed his whole family with a hammer. You're like,
oh, sorry, that's called five. Go across there. But I remember there's a story of this guy that he was doing, I think he was doing donuts on the Cardinia Park baseball fields.
Yep.
Yeah. He was doing like donuts around there, and I think it was like late at night, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning, and the cops came and like fined him. I don't think there was hoon legislation back then, so he kept his car.
Yep.
So he got in heaps of trouble for that, and this was partly what that case was about. And the police officer was there giving evidence, I think, from memory. And they said the next day, the same police officer was doing breathos. That car came through. And the police officer was like, gee, that looks familiar. I feel like I've seen that somewhere. And then the front number plate was a New South Wales plate. It wasn't from the same car. And then the back number plate was from another car. And the police officer was like, mate, I saw you like 6 hours ago. You've got the wrong plates. I told you not to drive, and now you're coming through the breath. And the guy was in court, and his friends were up the back like, yeah, Jimmy, like, you didn't do anything wrong.
The court's against us.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fuck cops.
Yeah, like...
Anyone who says fuck cops is just a moron. Just a fucking... It's always the people who do something wrong, hate police, and you're like, but they're out to get us. It's because you're doing donuts, then the next day you're driving through with fucking New South Wales number plates, you numpty.
Oh, it was so funny, and it's just there's things like that in there all the time. And I think the magistrate court is your lowest court, so that's where all
The good stuff.
the good stuff, yeah, the juicy crap, or speeding
Or a
fines,
burgundy fucking Australian.
yeah, like Shania's key in my car or something like that, like all that kind of good stuff. Whereas if you go up to the higher courts, it'll either be a murder case or it'll be some technical thing that's not that interesting.
Fraud.
Yeah, fraud, car rebirthing. I remember seeing that in the county court, that kind of stuff. It's essentially where
Car rebirth. I didn't even have to say that
you
one.
shove it back in. No, I think it was something like they basically just take off the VINs and put a different VIN on it and that kind of stuff. But because it's such a complex case, you're sitting there hearing the history of like
Cars.
yeah, it's just some shit. And
1897 made the first fucking blah.
I remember we went to the Supreme Court for a murder case, and I was like, "Ooh yeah!"
And I'll see some blood.
They spent 4 hours talking about a hairbrush.
Wow.
Yeah,
And he murdered the person?
I don't know what the hairbrush had to do with anything.
It wasn't a part of it.
Yeah.
Like, what? Your hair looks beautiful. Wow, I got this new brush.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah.
Exhibit A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough when I went to Juneau in Alaska. I was visiting a friend, and the day before she got done with a DUI. So she had to go to court on the Monday, and this was the Friday. So we went to her court case just to see what was going on, had some support, yell from the back, you didn't do anything wrong, that type of thing. And I was like, this is going to be pretty shitty. Like, it's just some DUI shit. Been to the courts once in Geelong when I studied fucking law or whatever it was in year 11. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is going to be shit. But all of a sudden, the judge, they were like, just to let you know, there's some other people we got to work out these guys because they're actually in holding to go to the prison. And I was like, motherfucker, what? So they bring out 4 people, it's 3 chicks and 1 dude in their orange jumpsuits, chained up, and then they there's the panther. And then they, what they did is they went through the case and they were all pretty fucking shit, all just dumb stuff. And I was like, this is kind of cool. Then one of the dudes, he was like, he was nearly going to get off, and the judge was like, okay, kind of like, don't do this. And then the court attorney, like for on behalf of the good guys, who's like, how you get the shitty lawyer for the
prosecutor?
Yeah, but the one who was like, is it the fucking district attorney or some fucking, who was like, actually, just to let you know, judge, this guy's been on like 16 charges of stalking, arson, and she was like, whoa, okay, and gave a different fucking judge thing. So I swear it wouldn't have happened if this lady wasn't like, excuse me, he's a baddie.
Have you read the back page of that? Oh,
yeah. So the best one was, this chick was up on she was actually up on domestic violence charges. She hit her fucking boyfriend or whatever, and they were nearly done, and then this dude behind me stands up, and I was like, he's going to shoot this joint up. Like, what the fuck's going on? Because it was America. So this guy fucking stands up. He's like, excuse me, I just got out. And the lady was like, the judge was like, this is a courtroom. Shut up.
You're not wearing your jacket.
Yeah,
sit down.
I can't hear you. Can you please sit down, and I'll promise I'll get back to you. And he's like, just to make sure, that's my daughter. On fucking stand or trial, whatever. So they talk about this chick, and then they're asking her all this shit, like, are you gonna plead guilty? And she's like, yes. And they're like, just to make sure, if you plead guilty, you're not allowed to have any firearms ever. And she was like, what? She was only like 23 or something. And
that's a long life without firearms.
Yeah, I know, in the States too. And then the judge looks at her lawyer, who was like, do you want to have a chat with her and kind of tell her what's going to happen if she pleads guilty? And he's like, oh yeah. And he just writes shit on a post-it note, like just puts it down in front of her, and she's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. And then all of a sudden, it's kind of getting to the end, it's kind of done and said type thing. And then the dude stands up behind me again, and the lady, the judge, was like, yes? He's like, I am Billy Bob fucking Jr., and this is my daughter. She has been on crack. I've got a 6-month-old daughter at my house. I've had her for the last like fucking 6 months. He's like, only last week she was at the hospital, and then by the time she had like self fucking left or whatever it's called, she we knocked up on her fucking door. By the time we got there, she had already passed out because she was on crack cocaine. My daughter's gonna die. What I'm asking you to do today is, can you please put her into my custody?
Oh.
And then if she escapes my custody, you can like send her to prison. But I gotta take her to rehab. I got a plane waiting. I got the tickets. I paid. It's the best fucking rehab thing in Alaska. And everyone's just like, what is going on?
Granted.
And the judge is like listening patiently, and she's kind of like, yep, gets to the end, and he's kind of like, and she's like, the chick who he's talking about is like, I don't want to go. I'm not going with him. And then the judge is like, okay, this is not a film. This is not a movie. We can't just put her into your custody. There's rules and laws. So she will be going to jail for 39 days, whatever it was. This is going to happen. And then all of a sudden she just did a backflip, the chick in the fucking stands, like the one getting in trouble, the young one. Yeah. And she was like, Papa, they're going to take me away. And he's like, yeah, I'll be waiting for you, like all this like fucking dramatic shit. And we were like, this is the craziest thing in the world.
That's where you go then.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it fucking went to the DUI cases and they were boring as shit.
Yeah.
But this one where this chick like fucking losing her. I know it's sad as fuck, and I'm not endorsing fucking crack and her losing her kid and stuff, but like for a piece of shit like me, it's better than Netflix.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it was free.
Yeah, I know. I was like, that was so fucking cool. I wanted to go the next day. But yeah, it was very interesting to just be in the courts and you're like, oh my god, this stuff does happen.
Yeah, you can see a lot of stuff.
It's so weird that normal people are allowed to go in there.
Yeah.
Like, I had no business being in there.
Yeah, but it's public justice.
Yeah, true.
If the doors
Street justice.
The doors were closed and they came out and just said, yeah, we gave you 10 years. For what? Well, we can't really go into that, but...
Wouldn't you accept it, though? Like,
would you?
I
don't know. Would you?
I would. I don't know.
No
I'm waiting for you, pup.
No more burnouts for 1 week.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Alright. Are you got any more stories of the court? Or is that fucking...
Nah.
Just that...
Just the hairbrush.
Just the hairbrush. They always talk about the bar. I don't know if the bar is... Maybe... I can't remember if you talked about it, but... Is that the legal exam, or is that the... What is the bar?
Yeah.
To raise the bar?
Yeah,
the bar?
to raise the bar.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
It's to essentially to become a barrister, to become someone who works in that space, you sit the bar.
So you didn't have to do the bar?
No.
Okay.
No. So that's like an extra exam.
See, like I think most people who watch law shows think
everyone's
the bar. Everyone's doing the bar. Is the bar just notoriously fucked?
I think it's pretty hard.
Yeah.
I know there's people that sit it multiple times. You just get knocked back and do it again, I think, essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's notoriously quite difficult, but...
Stricken from the bar. Is that the right word?
Stricken from the record.
Stricken from the record.
That can mean a lot of things.
Okay.
Interestingly,
for lawyers.
So when I become a lawyer, I had to sign a book and put my name in there.
Okay. Was it the Bible?
I swear.
Yeah.
Be a good lawyer.
Yeah. No, give it an autograph. They're like, do not sign this.
You sign a roll, essentially, of all the lawyers, and what we refer to as being struck off is when you do something really bad and your practicing certificate's taken away, you just put a line through that name.
Really?
Yeah. So stricken from the record is similar.
Yeah.
It's basically just crossed it out in normal speak, essentially. So.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about in court where they say, on the record, off the record, that sort of thing.
Is there an off the record?
There
off the record, I fucking killed him.
when I call other lawyers, sometimes you say this is off the record. Jimmy's a fucking dickhead. No, it could be anything. It could be look off the record. This is the thing, but you can't use
off
that.
The record, I fucked your mum.
So they can't say, oh, you told me that we're going to do this. It's off the record.
Okay.
So and that allows you to have a conversation that doesn't affect your client. But in court, all it means is that when they transcribe it and it's put in the official records, that's not in there.
How is that person who's going to type it out?
I don't know how that works. I don't know if they record it or how it works, but not every court case, like magistrate's court, I know some of the stuff isn't recorded, so old mate like Doey's isn't in there. I don't think.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So like his mates in the background are just like, yeah, you didn't do anything wrong, Jimmy.
Jimmy didn't do... What was that last bit? Oh, yeah.
Jimmy! Hypothetically, you fucking did something wrong.
Yep.
From the sounds of it, it would have to be in your field for you to have a crack at it to get yourself off. For if you were sued or something like that, like you wouldn't be like, every court case that you could be involved with, this is a very hypothetical one, you wouldn't back yourself. You would be like, probably should get a lawyer that knows exactly what they're doing. Because it'd be kind of like, well, you would know a lot more than your average Joe, but at the same time, you'd probably want.
I think the saying is, what is it? A lawyer who represents himself has a fool for a client.
So, yeah, okay.
So, no, you don't want to... I mean, even if you work in that space, no.
You feel the best.
Yeah. Well, maybe if you're the best.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
If you're the best, go for it.
Do you guys know of the best? You're like, oh, we're coming... Oh, actually, it's not so much you, but... the top dogs, they're like, oh, we're going up against fucking Jim or fucking Black Bean Jim and Blackstein's fucking Black Books, fucking whatever it is. Yeah,
sounds like a voodoo doll or something.
They got those real long names, the fucking... the
Black
firms.
Bean Jim. Yeah.
You know, you're like, oh, fuck, they've got old mate. They've got the Jeremy Cameron of fucking lawyers.
No, I like it. Because I don't really do disputes as such. We do stuff where you do disputes, but it could be someone working on their own, it could be a big firm, it doesn't matter. There's certain lawyers that you don't like on the other side, mainly because they might be...
Off the record, it's gay.
Off the record, fucking dickhead. Or, they might be someone you don't like dealing with. Or there might be someone that just make things difficult for no good reason. But it doesn't matter if it's a big firm. It could be someone.
Mosquito in the mouth.
I'm the mosquito. The mouth is the big firm, and I missed it.
Yeah.
So no, it doesn't matter. But if it's a lawyer like you have a good relationship with, you can talk trash, and then after it's all good. So
like, oh, see you next week, mate.
Yeah.
See you for the rape cage, champ.
I got you on that one. Come on.
What's it like when people are like asking for advice, and you have to be like, hey, this is kind of my job.
Yeah.
And I went to university.
Yeah.
Did we talk about this or no?
No. I don't think so. We can rewind the tape, the transcript, and see. But, it sucks. When I say it sucks, I mean when it's more so like if a friend rings me up and has a question and it's something I can answer, I will answer it for them. I won't be like, "Where's the money?" Yeah, true. Okay. But if it's a client,
listen, I'm 27 and she's 16. Am I allowed to?
when you pay for my mortgage, I give you the answer. When you first start out, you really do it a lot. Because it's almost like...
Is it more like friends don't realise, or is it more like, is it actual clients trying to be like...
It's both. It's both. When you first become a lawyer, it's kind of like getting a magic wand. You've got a certificate that says you can do certain stuff, and people call you up, and like friends of yours, and say, oh, can I, and you just like, maybe I'll say yes, I will answer that question for you for free. And then you do it a lot, and then you think, I've just spent half my day not doing, it's work, but I'm not getting paid for it. So look, it is hard, and I think most people see value in lawyers, but I think there are people that just think, oh, it's a simple question, It's almost like they're waiting to go to the toilet. Like, come on, just if you can answer that question, then I've got to go real quick. And he's like, no, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
But I've got friends. I've got friends that are real estate agents. I've got friends that work in other fields that ring me up and just ask me questions. I'm happy to answer them. Not everything we do costs money, but then you're at a party and...
Something about getting a second investment.
Yeah.
And just wondering, can I put a hot tub on the roof?
Yeah. Or when it's like, you're at a party and it's 1 a.m. and someone's asking you they may think it's a simple question, but you're just like...
Talk about airspace fucking law?
Yeah.
Alright.
I read that book last night.
Alright, Lyle.
Yeah, last key on that. He asked me a lot of airspace questions. Can I plumb into the sky? But yeah, we do a lot of stuff for free, and we do, I do help my friends out a lot, but at the same time, yeah, it's like anything. You wouldn't call someone up and expect them to give you some advice and, not pay for it if it takes a bit of work,
I still remember I went to the plumbing supplies a couple of times, random Joes coming in asking questions. Then I learned very quickly never to ask the other plumber that was there. So let's say a random person comes in who's not a plumber, there's a plumber already in the store. I would never be like, oh, he's a plumber, just let me ask him. Hey, fucking blah, blah, blah. Can you do this? Or like, how would you do that? Because it's like, no. I know they didn't go to university, but they went to trade school. And
it's the same thing.
Yeah. It's kind of like, and then I remember one time one of the plumbers heard one of the other fucking people talking, and they were like, hey mate, you could probably just ring a plumber and get that figured out. He's like, nah, they cost too much. And he's like, you know what's going to cost more? Is when you fuck it up and then you call me and I'm going to come out and fix your shit job. And he was like, oh.
What's your number?
Yeah. It was such a weird thing. It's just like, but it's true though. Yeah. Like, people just think they can get or know how to do it themselves, or they just want the free information. It's like, no, this person went to school in some capacity to get the knowledge and know-how, and you just want it for free.
And the other thing is people think they describe the full situation, but they don't. Just like the person...
I mean, she was asking for it.
Yeah, like, or the plumber's like, oh, it's just a pipe. I'm like, the plumber doesn't know what it looks like. The plumber doesn't know what your system is. They don't know anything about it. Just because you say, oh, can I put an S-band in here? Fuck, who knows?
Yeah, like you could.
Yeah, you could.
Flood your house.
I don't know what that means, but like it's the same for everything. It's just, you have to respect what people put into it. And,
Do you think film and television have made any prejudice towards like lawyers? Because there's a lot of people thinking you guys are dodgy or liars or manipulative. That you're just like, I sit and do paperwork.
Yeah. I don't do any of that stuff. Yeah, a lot of...
Is there any prejudice in your life when you're like, oh, a lawyer? People are like, ooh, a professional liar?
A little bit.
Yeah, I said lawyer.
By the drinks, no.
Yeah.
Nah, it's kind of annoying, to be honest.
Yeah.
A lot of American stuff, because, there's not that many Australian movies, or like, there are some good Australian TV shows about lawyers.
Really?
Crownies, if you ever want to watch that show.
Heard it here first.
Yeah, it's a good show from the ABC, or it's not necessarily correct, but there's another show on the ABC called Rake. But the American stuff is a totally different field. Like, just because they work in a different space, they have different terminology, they do different stuff. The one that really, and I really like the TV show, Suits.
Yep.
Have you watched Suits?
I watch bits and pieces of it.
I've never seen
Once I'll always be like, that's chicks the fucking
She's married
Megan
to Harry.
It just blew my mind. I was like, I knew it.
It ruins the whole illusion of the
Yeah.
show. Yeah, no, but they have this super complex case. They never seem to have any assistants bring them stuff.
It's the same fucking show every time though. It's like, well, we have drama. Oh my god, you said this. You shouldn't have said that. Oh my god. Oh, magically fixed. Bye.
Our backs are to the wall.
Yeah.
Until next week.
Yeah. It's so it's dumb.
A complex like a merger and acquisition. $1 million deals. Someone's getting sued. They get a manila folder with one piece of paper in it. Put it on the table. That's it. We're all solved.
You did nothing wrong, Jimmy.
Yeah. Oh my god, you're so right. Yeah, it's just stuff like that.
Yeah, it's true.
I did like that show though, but it got repetitive because their backs were to the wall.
It's very, very repetitive.
Yeah,
and people love it.
Yeah, it's essentially a drama, but it's.
And Megan Markle's.
Yeah.
Mm. I think it's just more the guy was not a lawyer at the same time. You know what I mean? It was that he's a fucking genius. There's that added fucking element to it. And it's just like, okay.
And then 6 seasons in, when he's been a lawyer for a while, or purportedly, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
We get sued. I get sued. Hey, he's fucking up movies.
You've ruined Suits for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got repetitive, but it doesn't help. But I don't know if people want to watch realistic.
Yeah. Someone talking about a brush for 4 fucking hours. You're like, all right, mate. All right, champ.
It's just me in my office. Just that's a good form. That one.
Dad.
Dad, you fix this for me. You can go to lunch.
I think that's it, to be honest. I think we're fucking... There's a lot of other things we could probably cover, but we're just going to step on our toes and probably go around in circles. Elliott, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a fucking pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
I've learned so much. I feel like I could be a lawyer now.
You've learned so much, but don't use it in real life because none of it's real advice.
Yes! Elliott's not even a real lawyer.
I know nothing about what we talked about. We didn't even talk about my areas of practice for maybe 10 seconds. That's all I could talk about.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 14. We'll be back next week with another guest. So like and subscribe and just keep on prospering. Sign the Bible or whatever you got to do to become a lawyer. Thank you. Goodbye.